Yo, what's good, everybody? Hope everybody is still having a good year so far, um, and just enjoying life. Just wanted to give a small update. Uh, since the last video, been just busy with life. Uh, just really been busy with this year's fall semester for school. So I really haven't had too much time to create any content or even honestly just really work on the skyline. But I did do like a mad push before the start of the semester, just knowing I wouldn't have too much free time to dedicate to anything. So I'll just show you a little bit and then jump right into this video so you can see what I actually was able to get caught up enough on schoolwork to where I had somewhat of a free day, like 3 hours allocated to where I could just focus on playing around in the garage. I know it looks like a mess, but it's a good mess. I was able to get the carpet. I was able to get the dash in. And this thing here was it's a $300 mistake, or $300 is something that I've lost. This here, guys, if you know what GTRs, I think even 300ZXs, they have them. It's for the automatic AC system that the car has. Apparently, it's a big deal, and I needed it. I'm not going to run AC on this car. That's the plan, but I plan on running heat. From what I've researched, this also kind of controls your heating system. So I lost it. Luckily, I found a place in Japan, Trust Kikaku. I will put the description to those guys in this video because they were not only lifesavers, but they actually have a boneyard of GTRs, Nissans, Supras. Um, so like, yeah, they're like I wouldn't even say it's not like a pick and pull. It's more like a junkyard where they have all of these Japanese legends or cars or whatever. And they have inventory of used parts, which is great because that part is discontinued again from Nissan. It's somewhere in my house or garage. Hopefully, the other one. If not, it means I threw it away by accident or it went with the Integra when I sold it. Who knows? But anyways, yeah, I got that all that stuff back in. So the interior is like 25% done. Um, and when I was putting the dash in, I didn't want to run out of room, so I wound up just snaking through for right now the wiring specialties um new wiring harness that I had bought. You see, this is like brand new, like mint, man. A couple of years ago, I think like 2 years ago now, I got it on a Black Friday sale. It was like $600 shipped. It might not even been that much, man. I had to go back through my receipts and look. It probably was like 500, like 500 shipped to me. So I got it on sale Black Friday. So pretty much this is where I still stand with the engine bay on the car. Um, I'm just doing it in the process now. I'm just gonna continue taking my time. I'm really enjoying it. Something that I did get, I know it's not in the last video, is I found got these done. So and if you look, man, it's like a dead match to the bolts that I got. You can see that, and that's pretty tough to do with powder coating because this isn't paint. This is powder coated, and it has some type of reflection, not much. You can see it there. It's like a pale gold. Again, this isn't a camera trick. This is, you know what I mean? This is so. Anyways, yeah, it's like reflective. It's like a gold, pale gold. I'm ecstatic about it because it's like a dead match against the hardware, both sides. So that looks good. I was just looking at it and I'm contemplating on some of the other stuff that I wanted to get zinced. Yeah, you can see it. The stuff that I wanted to get zinced, maybe I'll get it done in this finish, and that way it'll pretty much stand the test of time. So I did that. Kind of trying to not reveal too much yet, but anyways, I popped this on. Popped that on. I popped the other side on. The same company, Trust. I was able to get all new, um, all new pieces for the front and back windshields, or windshield and rear glass, all new, all the way around. Some other things that I wound up getting, I can't remember what box is in right now. Maybe this box. No. I did get like the center vent. It's notorious for being broken on R32s. That center vent. I got that from the same place for really cheap, like $40. And then with stuff from Japan, you gotta pay the freight. But what I've mastered now is just finding all the stuff that you need to get. Look at that, man. Finding the stuff that you need to get, and then just combining it all. And then it cuts down on shipping. So I saved a lot doing that. This here, I redid these two harnesses for the gauges. Wrapped it in this tape. It's like normally in like German cars. Drawing a blank every time I get on film. The kind of tape, it's called Tessa tape. Yeah, it's just Tessa tape. But anyways, it cleaned that up, and then some of the other stuff that was done in the car wiring wise that I wasn't happy with, I just wrapped it in the Tessa tape again. It just cleaned it up and made it nice and tidy. Stuff that you'll never see, but to me, it's a big deal, right? So jumping right into the video, I did play around before the semester started with trying to correct some of the imperfections in the paint. So you can see here, this hasn't been touched yet, right? But there was like a bunch of dirt nibs and all. I know I showed in the previous video. So I started working on them, and I had some runs in the car, right? Oh, that is awesome. You guys can see. Look at that, man. Yeah, that's the pearl. Lucky, I don't know. But finally, I was able to capture this on film. If you guys want to, yeah, that's the pearl. the pearl. The pearl that's in the paint. But then you come up off of it, and without like an aggressive light, it doesn't look like this. So I'll show more of the car, of course, in the future. But anyways, I had runs. There's another run that was in here. I wound up getting that out. A run in the door here. So pretty much I went through the process of knocking down all that stuff with a razor blade, the real bad runs, and then I would just take 1500 grit sandpaper and just work it a little bit, not much, right? So what I wound up doing from that point, I said, okay, I kind of got the hang of this, but I was still a little ignorant in the process, right? So I went on the same platform, YouTube, and I found a guy with Sprayway Customs, and the brother, man, he does this at his home for a living. He built himself a paint booth and everything, and he sprays cars, and he does pretty much everything, man. He's down south, like Mississippi, Alabama area. He does candy paint, he does metallics, but the guy is he's a professional, right? So I watched his video on wet sanding, and I found more videos, and I was able to find the most important thing, the technique. I was able to find the right products and the right way to use those products, and the results. It's I'm really happy with the results. I'm gonna put a link to his video and his channel here. And then also there's a guy, Underground Kings. He's the guy I learned how to properly set up the paint guns. He had a couple of tutorials and videos dealing with wet sanding. I watched his video. He's based in Detroit or Michigan. And I'm gonna put his link and stuff, links to the channel and video in this video as well, so people can go back and refer to that, because those guys do a really great job of explaining and teaching, right? So watching their videos, I was able to go from, let's see, here, so you can see this, to this, right? And I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's go this way. So yeah, so you can see. So you're probably saying to yourself, like, what the heck did you do to your paint, man? Right? But guys, that is when you're wet sanding the car, this is the finish that you want. Because for me, for one, I had defects in the paint, right? I had some runs, not many, believe it or not, not many, but I had a lot of dirt nibs. So I wanted to get the nibs out. Now I had some solvent pop. I showed that in other videos, right? So the other thing is I had orange peel. And for people, if you don't know, orange peel is even in your factory paint, you know, and it's maybe to the minimum, but you still have orange peel in there. And sometimes when guys refinish cars or they do a custom paint job, they will refer to wanting factory peel, not too smooth, right? But I said for me, I wanted it a little bit smoother. I don't mind having a little peel, but I wanted to get most of the peel away. Now, what compounded the orange peel problem on my paint job is the number of coats of clear that I had to apply because of the pearl finish, right? So the more, just think of it this way, the more clear that you use on your car, the more you're going to have buildup, and the more you're going to be susceptible to developing orange peel in your finish. It's fine. So what you do, the correct remedy to that is you wet sand, and then you do the process of cutting and buffing. And once you're done, you'll go from like an orange peeled finish where you can see this. And if you look at this, this is great. This looks like an orange peel. That right there, right? See that? It's still, so I got to work that. I could leave that, but I don't want to. I want to get a lot of that out of there. So I'm going to have to work this area a little bit more. If you go up, you can see the orange peel kind of disappears, right? Right? Follow me? So here, you can see a little peel. Here is flat, right? So you want to continue to, and in here. So you want to continue to refine the paint finish until you get a smooth finish like that. Because once you're done, you'll come back with a flat finish, right? But look, this is so good that even with it being flat, you can see a reflection in it. That's how you know it's going to buff out. So once you're done that process and do the correct steps of cutting and buffing, your paint will come back to this. Look at that, right? So now that's good. You can see me, a reflection, clear as day in the paint. It's like a mirror. Now I just did this little section. As you go up there, you can see, I haven't cut and buffed that yet. I just wanted to practice back here. And look at this. Look at the refinement in the paint. The other thing is, this paint is now smooth. It doesn't have the lumps, the bumps. It doesn't have the orange peel in the paint. You don't have any of that. Look at that, man. And then you run out of that because I haven't cut and buffed up there. But look. Oh, that's great. You can see the pearl effect in the paint. And then you can see me clear as day. Look at me right there, because I'm blocking that light with my hand. Look at that. You can see the fan behind me. You can see the fan that's behind the car in the paint. And you come down the side. It's a mirror. You see that? That is like a mirror, man. And that's overall, that's the finish that you want. That's what you want to get back to once you're done cutting and buffing. You can see me in here. Doesn't help I'm wearing like a light powder blue shirt. Blends in with the paint, right? Yeah. So that's what you want to do. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today in this video, is I want to talk to you about the steps. So I'm gonna go ahead, and this, I know it's boring. I know, hey, look, watching the guy wet sanding on the car is boring. But if you're gonna do this at your home, and you want like and you just seen it, you want a top-notch finish to where it looks professionally done, like it was sprayed in a booth. These are the steps that you have to do to get to that finish. So the first thing that you want to do when you're wet sanding your car, you want to select the right grit paper. So before, man, when I would attempt to do this, I was trying to wet sand, refine the finish with 800 grit paper and going up from there. You know what was happening? I was putting too deep of a scratch in my paint inside of my finish. This is before. This isn't on this car. It's on the DA when I practiced with it. And I think a couple of times on this car before I got it, to where it is now, this finish, painting it. But anyways, it was a nightmare, right? So the first proper thing that you want to do is get the right paper and start off with the right paper. One other thing before I talk about that is just as important. You got to allow the paint time to cure especially when you spray at home, unless you have a way where you can you can put heat on this thing and dry this out and make this paint solid, hard. Even just putting it in the sun for a day isn't enough. You want at least, from what I've seen, right, at least 30 to 45 days if you've done this in your home garage for this paint to properly cure. Now, I sprayed this car back in June. It is now October, the first weekend of October, right? So you count how many months that has been, and I started to be able to sand on this car. There's one thing that when you wait that long, what happens is the paint cures even more. So for me and for anybody else, I believe that is not a professional, this may actually work out in your benefit because it worked out for me. The paint gets hard and it's harder to cut. It's harder to sand it and smooth it down, right? But because the paint is hard, you don't run the risk of damaging the finish because the paint is too soft. Just think about that. So at least, like I said, if it was me doing it all over again, I would tell you guys at least a month and a half to let that paint properly cure before you go ahead and wet sand. So going back to the paper, you want to start off with 1500 grit paper, because this is the technique that I used, 1500, right? And then from 1500, you want to work your way up to 2000 grit paper. And I'm looking for an old piece of paper so you guys can see it. Yeah, hopefully you can see that. So that's 2000 grit. Now this has been used, of course. I'll show you new stuff. And this is also the brand. So I'm put all this stuff in the links in the video. 2000 grit. And then once you're done, you want to go up, step it up to a 3000 grit sandpaper. Even soft. I wish you guys was here to feel this. It's very soft. Very soft. So you want to step up in those steps. And you can go all the way up to, I've seen a 5000 grit paper. But from Sprayway Customs, when I watched him do that, 15, 2000, 3000, and it worked great. All right, so from there, something else important that you want to do, you want to get yourself nice, clean, soapy water, right? And you want to let your paper soak. And you know your paper's ready to sand. I'm not doing this. I'm not curling this. It's curling on its own. When your paper curls like that, she's ready. She's ready for you to go ahead and start the sanding process, right? The other thing you want to do, get yourself a rag or a sponge. I like the sponge technique. Go ahead, drop that in the bucket. And then you want to give yourself a foam pad. You don't want a hard block, okay? You want a sanding pad that is going to be able to be flexible with the curves and shape of the body of the car. Because something that is too rigid, you're going to wind up digging into the paint. Cutting and buffing and wet sanding after the paint, you're not looking to remove material like that. You're looking to refine the finish. So get yourself a nice foam block that is flexible, right? It's got some rigidity to it, but it's flexible. You can see that. Now, this here, I had some stuff came in for the car. I was looking on Amazon. I was like, man, I'm not paying $20 for a piece of foam. I found this, recycled this from product that I had bought. You can see it. It's how flexible it is, and just cut it and made it into a block. And the thing is, I could make this even bigger. And that's probably what I'm going to do. Make it a little bit bigger than this. But I don't know. I kind of like that because I've been able to stay within the area. The last thing, talking about that, staying in the area. You don't want to try to do the whole car in one swoop. So you want to give yourself a 12, and that's just guessing it, a 12 by 12 piece, 12 by 12, and work that area, get that right. Then you go to your next 12 by 12, get that right, and keep going down. And what the other thing you want to do is just finish it with the 15. So get your whole panel done in 1500 grit, right? Then you step up 1000 grit. Another trick that I learned, and it's actually saved me a lot of time from those two gentlemen, Underground King and Sprayway Customs, is you can use a DA sander to refine your finish in wet sand, right? It's all about speed and it's about technique. And once I get to that part, I will talk to you about it. But while we're going over materials, there's something very important if you're going to DA wet sand your car. So your DA has a pad. Just back around. So on your DA, your sander, orbital sander, you have a pad, right? This is the pad here that comes in from the factory. This is your hook and loop style, and this allows you to attach your sandpaper to it, the sand. This is too rigid to wet sand and refine the finish of a car. This is great for when you want to remove material. But again, this is too rigid when you are trying to refine. So you have to get what they call an interface pad. And that's this pad here. It's a sponge. You can see how I'm able to just, and that isn't too rigid. That is actually perfect. So again, I'll put the link in the video. I used an interface pad, and you need to match that interface pad to the size of your DA orbital sander. For me, it's a 5-inch, but they have 6 and they also have 7-inch. So you just need to match that, right? And once you've done that, it's about using the right speed and technique. We'll get to that. I'm gonna go ahead, get this thing set up on a tripod just so you guys can see me working. I want you guys to see this because it's a process that works. I want to get the rest of this orange peel out, right? I want to get that orange peel out of here. It's a reason why, if you look down the car, yeah, but that's great. If you look all the way down this roof line, it's a reason. You see it's like a bordered edge. See that? But it's a reason that I didn't go too heavy here. Why? That's the edge. You get too cute, you get too close on the edge of sanding, you're not a professional, you're going to burn. And you're going to burn yourself. And I know it's small, but right there, on this tail lamp bezel, I burnt through the daggone paint. I got too cute, got too close. So what I'm doing now, I'm not getting, and if I do hit it, I'm not getting too far up on it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit there and try to get the peel out of that corner too much. There's a proper technique. I haven't learned it yet, and I'm not going to share that with you guys because I don't want you guys to mess up your project and say, oh man, this dude told me that I could do this and I done messed this up. So I'm not even going to discuss that. I'm just going to tell you guys, beware. Don't be too aggressive. If you hit over here, that's fine, but don't get too aggressive and try to remove that unless you're a professional. Also, around your trim, this is brand new trim that I got from actually a Nissan dealer, Olympic Nissan out there in Olympic, Washington. Got all new seals for this, right? Cheap. Man, cheaper than going through some of these importers. That's another video. I don't even know if it's my calling to even call them out or even talk about it. Just do your proper research when you're doing a restoration project and you're trying to find parts for your car. That's all I'm going to say for right now. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. Tape off your trim. So you don't jack it up like I did here on the glass trim. Tape, if you can't remove it, tape off. And then stay away from it. So if you see here on the door, I left that in there. And I'm not even going to try to get it out of there. I'm going to leave it in there and I'm staying away from it. So I'm happy with that finish. So anyways, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and work this area. Go ahead, set my tripod up so you guys can see me take care of this. All right, guys. So once you identify the area you want to work in, don't be scared. You want to go ahead and wet. You want to go ahead and wet your panel where you're working, right? Then you want to take your paper. Here's your paper. And you want to go ahead and you want to fold that on your block because you're not using the whole piece of paper in one swoop, right? And I would say at least on a car this size, you want to get like at least two, or depending on the pack, but you at least want, I would say, about 25 sheets of paper of each. And then you just work your area, man, and you take your time, right? And then what you want to do is just watch it. And what I'm looking at right here is it's like a milky finish. Well, that's good because that's clear. If that comes up the color of this, or you start seeing flakes on your paper from a metallic, you done went too far. You're in trouble. Stop though. It's savable, but stop. Right? Just take your time with it. Just take your time. That's all you gotta do. And come over there and clean that out. Right? And just look. I'm going in the famous X pattern. And the beautiful thing is with doing this by with a DA, right? Is the DA isn't going in this; it's going in a circle. And I'll show you the way that you're supposed to move that DA when you're sanding, and it just refines. And what you're doing with those other grits, those higher grits of paper, you're actually refining your scratches. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and dip my paper. Kind of tough to do that X pattern. And for me, I wanted to get this done before the glass man comes later this month to put the glass in. Because I honestly, man, I don't want to have that restriction of worrying about scratching my seals, brand new seals that I spent. Still, I mean, I spent a lot less than dealing with importers on that stuff. But again, it still was capital that I don't want to just throw away like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So just give yourself back and forth X motions where you can. And if you can't, just, and I'm not trying to dig in with this paper. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm trying to destroy this panel. I'm just going over it, just trying to refine the finish and get some of that peel out. Because to me personally, I like a little bit of peel, but I don't want it like it was looking. I don't want it to look like that. That was too lumpy. You know, and honestly, you start doing this long enough, you can feel the finish smoothing out and getting more refined as you go. Just flooding it, just flooding the panel with the sponge. This thing is, I had be real with you guys. I wound up going over this with the 2000 and 3000 paper. Then I let it dry. And then when I looked at it, I was like, man, I'm not happy with that. So I was like, I'm going to go back. I thought about it, honestly. You know what I mean? Like I gave it thought and I was like, no, I'm going to go back over this thing, man. Okay, so what we want to do now is just let this dry, and then that way you can just kind of check your baseline. So let's see what happens once this thing dries. So once this dries, I'll cut the camera back on, and then you guys can kind of take a look at progress with it. It's dried enough to where you guys can see the progress that's been made. And I hope you guys seen how my technique was and how long I was actually on the panel. You kind of gauge how long you may need to stay on the panel, depending on how bad the orange peel is. To me personally, I thought that was a lot of orange peel, right? So after sanding, look, and this is dry. So if you remember this whole area that had that peel still in there, look, it's gone. It's a little bit in there, a little bit, but not as bad. Here, I'm not happy with up in this area, right in here. So I'm gonna work on that a little bit more, right? And that's still wet because my sponge and all was sitting there. I moved that. But anyways, if you look, it says it's got a little bit of peel in it, not much. But I'm happy with that now. Now see, like right in here, you got two options. You can work on that a little bit, or you can decide to leave that alone. Remember I told you about burning through the edge. The other thing is, if you know cars, right? You worked on them enough, besides the front bumper, what's going to take most of the beating from rocks and stuff coming up off the road? And I just said it. It's going to be the front of the car, because if you don't drive a car in reverse, your debris and sand and everything is coming this way, right? So I've seen it, especially on Japanese cars. It rusts a lot up in this area. Well, that clear is look at it as a protective coat, right? So if you have a little bit more material here, protection, it's going to stand the test of time. Back here, because it's the wind and the breeze and all is moving this way. This is going to take the brunt. So again, I may decide just to try to work that a little bit more. Just a little bit more. But I'm probably not. I'm going to leave that blended like that. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone, man. Because you don't want to take too much material off. And then again, like I said, you don't want to burn the edge. And this is a beautiful finish. It's a beautiful finish. Just leave it alone. So I'm going to continue refining. I'm going to go on that side over there, back there. I'm going to get that out of there. And then up there in that corner, I think I'm going to work that a little bit. And then just work over here. Now, one thing I want to tell you guys when you're working, like, you know what? I can show it to you better. So that's the area you want to work, right? And you see you can either go this way, but you got a block. So you can even get in corners and stuff like that this way. And you can see, you definitely can see material, that milky color coming up out of there, right? Now you want to be careful because you got an edge up here on this car. So you don't want to get too aggressive because you're going to burn yourself, man. And you don't want to do that, right? Now here you can't do the X pattern on, so you only can go back and forth, but that's fine. That's fine. And I don't know if the video can pull it up too much, but it's definitely milky. So you're getting the material out of there that you want, right? And that's it. That's it in a nutshell. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish those areas that I said that I want to take care of, and then I'm gonna come back, and then I'm gonna talk to you guys about the process and the technique of when you're using your DA to refine these scratches. Oh yeah, see there's milk. See that? That's milk. Yeah, so you guys can see it. So, all right, hold tight. All right, guys. So again, 2000. This is your DA. This is the interface pad that goes onto the hard pad, right? So now what you want to do is get that paper centered as best you can, right? And now you're going to move away from the soap and water, and you're just going to keep a bottle of just plain water. That's all this is plain water, spray bottle, and you want to go ahead and wet your panel, and then you want to start sanding, right? Well, there's a way that you need to move this DA to get the best finish. And you want to do it either in 4, 8, or 12 passes, depending on, again, how bad the scratches and your peel and all is. For me, I found 4 passes wasn't enough. 8 passes is just about right. Some areas I did have to go 12 passes as well. But what I mean by passes is this. Say this is the panel you're looking at. You're going to take your DA and you're going to go. That's 1 pass. Then you're going to take your DA and go. That's 2 passes. Then from here, you're going to take your DA and go. That's 3 passes. And then you're going to take your DA and go. That's 4 passes. And just like I said, if you got to do 8, you do 8 of those. Or if not, you do 12 of those. And another thing I want to talk to you guys about that's critical that I found out is speed. You don't want to go at this thing too slow. You don't want to go at it too fast. Slower the better, especially if you're inexperienced. Again, you don't want to burn through your paint. If not, you're going to have problems. So for me, Sprayway, when I watched, he suggests that you would stay around the 2,000 range, 2,000 to 3,000 RPM range. And that setting should be on your DA. So here, I'm right at that 2,400 RPM range. And then just to make your passes. So one last time, pause the video, set this thing up so you can see me work the panel, and then I can talk to you a little bit more while I'm working that panel. So hold tight. I don't know what happened, but it didn't even record me going over this whole thing with the 2,000 grit. So now I have the 3,000 grit paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and film this real quick so you guys can see it. And like I was saying before, you want to, with the sponge, you want to just take your water bottle now and you want to wet your panel. And you want to keep this handy because you don't want this thing to go dry. So just make sure you got it set at the RPM. You know, you have your DA set at the RPM that you want, and then just work. If you have set through the video, this part so far, now it's on to the, what I call the fun stuff, bringing back the shine, like you can see back there, that gloss, bringing that back, right? So this is flattened. Most of the orange peel is out of this thing. I'm happy with it. It's still drying a little bit. Got a little bit of peel, but like I said, that's intentionally left in there. A little bit of peel up at the front. As you go back, it lessens. As you can see, it's flat, right? So as I said, it's got a little bit of peel in it, but not much. So now let's getting to that shine. Something very important for me that I didn't realize in my first attempts of trying to do this, why I couldn't get the results that I was after. And it was a couple of things. The main thing I found out is something called cross-contamination, right? So when you're going to cut and buff a car, there's typically at least 3 polishes, right, that you need. You need a cut to remove, even those 3,000 grit scratches is enough to show up in a mirror finish. So you want to refine, it's all about refining, right? So you have a heavy cutting paste that you'll apply on a wool pad or a firm foam pad. and you got to go over the car. Then after that step, you need to do a medium cut. Right now, you're going to remove the coarse cuts from that heavy cutting paste. So you step it up. And then the final one, because I'm doing a 3-step, I'm not doing a 4-step buff. On the final one, you get like an ultra machine or ultra finish cream, right? And you got to go over the car. But actually, I am going to do it in 4 steps, but I'm going to keep the same cream that I have. It's just that I'm going to go from this soft pad to an ultra soft pad. And I'll kind of explain that a little bit more once I get to that step. So anyways, what I'm getting at with this cross-contamination, if you don't successfully remove each paste or cream polish as you go through your steps, well, guess what? You're not refining. You're actually scratching it with the previous polish. So, brethren at Sprayway Customs explained something to me, and once I heard it, I was like, "Oh man, I can't believe this." So, what you want to do is get your IPA mix, and you're saying, "What the heck is an ox?" Pretty much, you want to get the highest grade alcohol that you can from like Walmart or CVS or Walgreens or something. For me, that's 91%. You should remember this because this is what I use to use for my car when I'm going to paint it or whatever. So anyways, you don't want to do that full strength. You want to go either on your bottle, you want to put in maybe 10 to 15% max of that 91% alcohol, and the rest you want to fill that up with water. And that is a more milder cleaner that you would need. And you use that before. So right now, you may think this panel's clean, but you want to use this here, just like before with the other bottle, and just spray it. Just spray it on there, man. Spray your whole area that you're going to be working on, right? Get it nice and clean and wet. And then you just go over it and you wipe that down. Now, just be careful that you don't use that when you're cutting and buffing the car with cutting with the sandpaper, right? So you just go ahead, just like if you were prepping for a paint job, right? You just go over it, go over your panel, wipe it down nice and good. Mechanic by trade, not a body guy. Big difference. I didn't know, man. I didn't know the products really that I needed to use. So on one of his videos, he had this product that he had purchased off of Amazon. Again, I'm gonna put the link in the video. But there was a product that he had purchased, and it actually came in a 1-step program and a 3-4. Apologize. They do have a 1-step, but anyways, they had a 3-step and a 4-step. And I purchased the 3-step products from this company here. So I'll put the links in the description. And as you can see, there's my heavy cut. That's the heavy cut right there. So that's what you want to begin with. And you just want to work your way up, man, through each polish. Now see here, there's a medium. And there it says step 2. And then for me, you see super finish. Where is it? Maybe it doesn't say it on there. Oh, yeah, it does say step 3. And then over there, you can see step 4. So anyways, those are the products that he used. And what you want to start off with is a wool pad, right? Now, something else that I could talk to you guys about once I get it set up, and I will. That'll make more sense. So anyways, so there's the wool pad that I'm using. And then these are the other intermediates that I'm using for my polishes, right? So it's these two here, and then you go over it with that white pad. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, the process that I'm doing is this here for my heavy cut, my medium cut, and then my high, and then high, the yellow and the white. The white is what I finish off with. That's kind of the in between, I guess. And then you got this one that comes right after your wool pad. Same technique as the sanding goes, where you're going to take it. Let's get around. So you're going to take your polisher and you're going to do that same pass technique, right? Right? Do that 4, 8, or 12 times. Go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and set the tripod up, and then I'm just going to go ahead and get busy on it. I probably won't show you guys me doing this process because it's kind of redundant. I'm done. This portion, this video, of course, and this portion of the car. I'll, I guess within a couple of weeks, because the glass guy will be here, I'll finish the wet sanding on the right-hand side, driver's side of this car. And then I'll have to, in the build of the body, pretty much, I will do the whole process of buffing it, polishing it back. But just so you guys can see the results of my labor in this video, as you can see the fan. Look at that, man. That's crazy. That is so crazy. Look at that. And that's the finish that you want to shoot for once you're done. You can see the refinement in the paint, and the paint is so smooth. It's unreal, guys, how smooth this paint is now. It's like very smooth. And the last step actually to this, I was contemplating off camera. I might invest in that step 4 polish just to see, test it out to see. And they sell it in small enough bottles, but I don't know. Just to see if if there'd be even more gloss and refinement in the paint. But again, as you can see that in the paint. The gloss is real. The gloss is definitely real, guys. So, yeah. So it's like, and repeat that process again, just to get that full effect throughout the body. So funny because after polishing this thing, man, it's like now you can really see the flake and pearl in it and everything, man. It's like crazy. It's like standing up in there, it's floating. So, yep, that is where I will be. As you can see, no tricks. This is still gloss. Until I can find the time, because I've actually went a little bit overboard for my time or whatever. So I got to get out of here. I got things that I have to do or whatever. But like I said, guys, I just wanted you to see this process, fully explain it a little bit so people who may be curious about it. Hopefully I added some clarity. Hopefully the links to those other guys' videos will help you out as well. But I guess I'll have to check you guys on the next episode whenever I get more free time, just to show a little bit more progress before the winter really sets in and I won't be out here and in school with the spring semester and all. So I have my work cut out for me in the next couple of months, I guess you could say. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. I had fun actually refining this paint and getting it one step closer, getting this car one step closer to where I want it, where I envisioned it. Just buckle up, enjoy the ride with me, guys. Well, next time, love you guys. Be easy. Take care of yourselves. Peace.